Welcome into BMOC's Bet Buffet, where we bring in big man on campus. Find him on Twitter at Jeff Nadeau. Go over some college football games. Also talk a little college basketball. Jeff, welcome in. How you doing today, buddy?
Doing great, Drew. Season's over soon. I've had a pretty bad couple weeks here for my plays, so um, but I have picked it up a little bit on Low Shack show, so we'll see how it goes. Bowl season will be fun. A lot of conference championships coming up, so plenty of money still to be made in the great sport that's college football.
Yeah, with bowl season coming right around, everybody can start over. But, hey, let's start off with an interesting one in the Sunbelt. We got 401, 402, Coastal Carolina versus Idaho. We got Idaho laying 9 at BetOnline, -8 at Chris, so at Bookmaker in America, 52 the total. Man, this travel spot is terrible, but I'm interested to see how you're betting it. Are you laying it with the Vandals?
Yeah, I definitely am, and you actually picked this one for our degenerate game, and we all kind of agreed. This is one that I actually liked. I looked at the card, and I immediately liked this one. Idaho comes into this game. You kind of drew with at this point in their season, they're heading into the FCS next year, and look, they have an opportunity here to kind of finish out strong, go to a bowl game. They have a couple games left. This will go a long way in getting to that point for them. This is a tough schedule here for Coastal Carolina. Coastal Carolina, obviously based in South Carolina, first year up at Division One, and yeah, they're off of a really tough game against Troy. They got crushed in that game. Now you got to head out into the mountainous regions of Idaho, play at basically almost over 2,500 feet above sea level. Idaho is off a bye here, so they really come into this really refreshed, ready to go, and get a long travel schedule. You're staying in, a town with nothing going on, not a ton, of interest. No one cares about the season. The season's over to begin with. And to make matters worse, Drew, the quarterback, Tyler Keene, for the Chanticleers is out as well. So now you're going in with not a lot to be excited about, but you have no quarterback really. And Idaho's been pretty good against the run, which is something you have to be against Coastal Carolina. They've been able to really hem people up. I think this game is one where Idaho comes out and really blitzes a pretty bad Coastal Carolina team, a team that's really, I mean, they've gotten blown out on the regular this year. This is a bad spot for them. And look, it really is a must-win for the Idaho Vandals. I think they go in. I think they win by 2 touchdowns or more here. I think Coastal Carolina is just a little bit outmatched. Plus, with a backup quarterback on the road in a really kind of not ideal place to play, I think it's a tough spot for the Chanticleers here.
I agree with you, big man. I'm on Idaho as well, so we can give you -8 at Chris right now on the SBR odds screen. Hey, we got another one, pretty much same time slot in the Big Ten, Nebraska versus Penn State. Looks like Penn State's laying 26 at BetOnline, 26.5 at Heritage, 55's the total at 5 dimes. How you betting this Big Ten matchup, big man?
Yeah, this isn't an ideal thing from a rooting perspective. I hate to have to root for Penn State, but I'm going to lay the points here with them here at home against the Cornhuskers. Drew, is it just me, or does it seem like Nebraska loses like 48-3 every week? I mean, they're another team that's gotten blown out on the regular this year. And look, I know Penn State's kind of coming in here. You lose 2 or 3, you lose that tough one to Ohio State, then you follow it up and lose at Michigan State. But they really came out last week with the tough spot against Rutgers, but they took care of business. They absolutely pounded Rutgers. And if Saquon Barkley, Drew, you would imagine he's kind of had a tough couple of games here. He really should be able to get going against this Nebraska defense off of a performance where they gave up, Drew, not 200, not 300. They gave up 400 yards, 409 yards on the ground to the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Saquon Barkley should have a huge day, probably vault himself back into a little bit of Heisman conversation. And Penn State's been shut down at home, Drew. You look at the numbers. They're scoring 44 points a game at home, giving up only 8. They've really dominated 5-1 against spread at home, and they're covering some big numbers. Akron, Georgia State. I mean, they're laying the wood against these teams and pounding them. Nebraska gives up over 5.2 yards a carry. I just think they get another slaughter fest here. And throw in, Drew, the fact that this is on the road in Happy Valley. with a freshman quarterback. Tanner Lee's not going to play. Patrick O'Brien's going to get the start. It's his first career start. Not an ideal defense to go against. This Penn State defense is pretty damn good as well. I think it's actually like a 48-13 type of game. I think Penn State comes in here and I think they pound Nebraska at home.
And Big Man, I know you're right there in the Philadelphia area. What made you say you hate betting on Penn State?
I just don't particularly like the school from a personal standpoint. Growing up around here, I've really had to deal with the delusional people that are Penn State football fans. And just kind of some of the off the field things that went on with this university and the overall delusional fan base that just seems to forget about it. I just don't like the school in general. It's kind of like Villanova though. I hate Villanova also, but that's just because I'm a Temple guy. I just, it's more or less their fan base. I'm not really a big fan of their fan base and just the overall callousness of their program. So for me, they're just kind of someone I don't like.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to our channel. Now we've put a lot of work into producing all these free videos, so please help us out and keep all our content free for you forever by simply liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Now, not to mention, a visit to our industry-leading website will warm the hearts of all our SBR employees, especially myself. Now, the links are over there to the left, so do check those out. Thanks for watching.